Hello, everyone. It is Ariah back with
Jay Wilson.
Jay Wilson.
The Destroyer.
And we are back with more Homestuck Epilogues, starting with Epilogue 3 today.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a month?
Jay Wilson's
a month
over
and a week?
COVID.
5 weeks? Yeah, Jay's over COVID. I had
like
gotten
the 10th
COVID
of
a second
December
time.
last time, and it's January 16th.
Yeah, so a month and a week.
But for you guys, if we told
of course,
you
it doesn't matter to
dates,
you.
it's going to get confusing.
Yeah, of course it doesn't matter to you guys because we're going to record this whole epilogue before uploading
weekly.
it.
We're just trying to give you some perspective on why we forget
or
certain things, so we aren't doing this consecutively like we used to.
Yeah, it's taken a while. Hopefully we'll get back into that someday.
I had COVID, then
thing,
Ariah got COVID, and then Ariah
my car's dead.
Ohio. You know how it is. R.I.P. that car though. I remember riding in that car and it was fun.
Yeah, I went to Virginia to hang out with my partner's family over Christmas, and then on the way back, my car died. The transmission failed, so I was stranded in Ohio for a while, and then eventually got a ride back to Michigan for my mom, and then I had a whole thing with work where I took a couple days off work because of my car issues, and then I tested positive for COVID, so then I told them about that, and then I had 2 weeks off work, and then tomorrow I'm actually going back to work for the first time in like a month.
I wish I could say I haven't been working. I worked a 12-hour shift yesterday, baby. I'm still sore. I want to die. Everything's okay.
The point is literally since the last recording, my life has been utter chaos. So,
to be fair, mine's been... What's the worst? Oh, there's not been too many bad things. I had this one interaction at a restaurant. I mean, this is like totally unrelated. But I went to a restaurant with some friends of mine, and we were sitting there, and I got up to pay because I was paying for everybody because everybody hates me. And, because like they always get mad at me because I do that. But I care about them, and I want them to know that. So I walked up there, and my buddy Gabe, he takes this pepper, and he puts some in my drink. And I sit back down, take a sip out of it. I'm like, that tastes kind of funny, And and he was like, I put pepper in it. And I was like, you know what? That's fair. And then I take the salt and I start shaking it into it for a good minute straight. Right? And, we're in the middle of a really heavy discussion about something. And all of a sudden he forgets that I put all that salt in it. And he takes a sip of it, right? No, you haven't hit the best part. He takes a sip of it and he grips the table like hard, motherfucker. Like he's dying. And he's like all of a sudden he's like about to say something and he's trying to say it's gonna come out as in like throw up, right? But he doesn't say that. He grips the table as hard as he can, and it feels like Batman just appeared at the fucking table because he goes so aggressively, I'm gonna come out! And it's the most fucking hilarious thing I've ever heard. This bitch just screaming, I'm gonna come out in the middle of the fucking restaurant. Right here in the middle of fucking North Carolina where, like, motherfuckers get shot for things like that. They don't really, but you know what I mean. Like, it was just so funny, and we just gave him shit the rest of the day. Like, we're like, you're valid, Gabe. Everything's going to be okay.
I love that.
Because we'd already been cracking jokes about him being gay anyway. But then he does that, and it just, like, completely makes it so we can't stop,
Yeah.
He hates us, but we love him, so.
Fair enough.
Anyways, past that. Completely. Anyways, Epilogue 3. Last time we saw some things.
Yeah, so, oh god, I don't remember everything that happened last time. I mean, I've got a pretty good idea of what happened so far, but, like, it's been a while, so it's a little bit of a blur of exactly what happened last time versus previous episodes.
I'm sure we'll understand better once we read.
Yeah, the thing that just happened is John and the gang exited the Juju.
They out the Juju
and the Lord English battle in the Dream Bubble, and everyone was like, wow, they're here. And then they were like, wow, we're here. And John's like, wow, this is just like my dream. And then it cut away to looks like Jake. So that's where we are. And then Epilogue 3. I remember Epilogue 1 being extremely long and then Epilogue 2 being one video.
I really hope the rest of the epilogues are one video. That would be so good for like editing and stuff.
Oh my
like
God,
I'm sure for you that would make things so much easier.
Yeah.
God, dude.
In any case.
And then we're then there. I don't know what we record after that. To be honest with you, something
after the epilogues.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do something.
Something will
at some
happen.
point.
We have a bunch of different ideas. We'll figure it out.
I still think it'd be really fun to eventually play it like Hive Swap and stuff because.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not saying we're done with Homestuck in general.
Oh, for
but
sure.
I just don't know what we're gonna do next. Maybe we'll finish Danganronpa at some point.
I think we're gonna take a break from Homestuck. Well, I think after this we're either gonna do Danganronpa 2 or Deltarune.
Yeah. Whatever we want to do.
Just a little hint for you guys, because Jay still hasn't played Chapter 2. I did play Chapter 2, because it was kind of during an off period on our channel.
Yeah.
But Jay hasn't played it, and...
I thought about it, but I never got around to it. I was going to record myself doing it, but then I never got around to it when my life gets really fucking busy.
Yeah. I guess this is like part update video, huh? Even though like these updates are going to be outdated by the time you see this.
Yeah, exactly. You get to know things about our life, but that has nothing to do with what's going on at this current moment.
Of course.
Are we ever going to actually record an update video so people know where the fuck we've been?
Yes.
Because it's been like, like 6 months since the last time that the video's been uploaded to this current date?
I would love to do an update video.
Because I'd really like for people like
start
on YouTube, besides our Discord, to know that your name's Ariah at this point, so that like all the updated stuff.
I know. Yeah, I want to record that
because that really like I know that it probably bugs you a lot, but it bugs me a lot. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind too much, especially since like they don't know better.
Yeah, exactly. But I just like, I don't know. I just would like for everyone to know.
Yeah, no, I would like to as well. Like the thing is I don't want to upload an update video and then have 3 months with no videos still.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I've just been so creative lately. Like I've been working on music. I've been working on like running around with my camera. Yeah. I've got like I don't know. I've got so many fucking things that I'm working on. I'm really happy about it. And I've changed my names like 18,000 times. Like the name I'm going to use 18,000 times. I don't like J-Train anymore. What I don't know what I'm going to use yet next. I've been kicking around something erratic because of how erratic I am as a person. And I don't think that that's something that has been used very often before. But who knows? There's a million different things that Jay Wilson could do. And that's the thing. Anyhow, Epilogue 3, am I right?
Are you ready to get into Epilogue 3?
Only if you say the magic word.
Crack cocaine?
That's a good guess, but it's actually abracapocus.
Damn. Can't believe this.
I can't believe it either. This is awful, and I hate it.
Alright.
I need to start talking about a new drug.
Fair enough.
LSD next.
You can get normal pills or something.
Opioids.
Normal pills. Get some
Adderall.
pills.
Adderall. That just doesn't sound as fun. All right, just go ahead and read. We could do this all day.
Jake yawns and knocks on the window to Jane's office again. For some reason, Jane has the shades pulled shut all the way around. So he's been hovering here for way too long in his best tie and his best pair of shorts. Blah. There's a crowd gathered below, gaping at a rare in-person appearance of a globally famous bud. The sunset has turned the head offices of Crocker Corp into a shimmering glass monolith, a beacon, if you will, of the future, visible for miles in every direction. Jane probably likes to think about it that way, at least. Speaking of Jane, she pops her head out from between two strips of silk-lined Venetian blind to glower.
I think glower is how you say that.
Who is hovering uselessly in the air. Use the front door, she mouths at him, but responds with his specialty, incomprehension.
I'm sorry, what?
The exasperated hand motions Jane tries next work better.
Oh, the front door, of course.
Jake flies down to the street so that he can take the front entrance. He whistles a quaint little ditty to himself while he waits for the elevator to go up to the top floor. This time, he knocks on the office door and Jane lets him in.
Please don't sink your claws into Jake. Please,
yeah,
Jane,
please just like have a heart attack.
Alone this time. That's all
die.
I'm asking, man. I just want Jane to die in this universe. That might be selfish, and people may think that wishing death on fictional characters is kind of a fucked up thing to do. But this is a very fucked up person, and honestly,
Jane deserves it, not Jake.
Jane
deserves it.
Morally speaking, I'm in the clear.
Exactly. That's what matters.
That's what matters.
Inside the office, it's dark and hazy. The whole place is candlelit, and Jane is reclining on her desk, sprawled out like a lounge sister on a grand piano. Sorry, lounge singer on a grand piano.
Lounge singer.
Specifically, a blue lounge singer on a blue piano. Just like in one of those hideous velvet paintings Jake bought in New Prospect a few years ago. Oh, New Prospect, I love it. Assume that's in the Carpathian Kingdom. Like all of his impulsive purchases, the tacky thing is gathering dust in a pile somewhere in one of the hundreds of spare rooms in his mansion, which now primarily functions as a very expensive warehouse for his atrocious hoarding habits. And intimate knowledge of his hoarding habits, particularly the type of sultry cerulean content he is known to hoard, is exactly why Jane is wearing a blue dress with a very high hem. Jake's bow tie practically spins at the sight of it. He freezes on the spot, an animal in the predatorial headlights of the buxom blue businesswoman. Come have a glass of scotch with me, Jake. We have so much to discuss.
Please don't drink with her. Please. God, this is terrifying.
Scotch.
Do you remember? Because he doesn't even like scotch. That's what we figured out in the last one. He just drinks it because...
Because it looks cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Because scotch is fancy liquor.
Exactly.
Which is fair.
I don't really drink. I've drank once in my life, but the feds don't know that, so I'm going to keep that to myself.
I am 21. I am legally allowed to drink.
The federales could never catch me.
I have purchased alcohol on multiple occasions now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right?
Could you, by proxy, have me purchase alcohol?
I don't think that's how that works.
No. If I give you cash and you buy said alcohol, by proxy, I bought alcohol.
Yes, however, that is illegal.
However... Yeah, I got nothing. Indeed.
He crosses the office and shakily accepts the offered glass of ludicrously expensive fermented barley grain. He raises it to his nose and pretends to sample the scent.
Jane, I must say that it is a very striking ensemble.
Oh, you like it? Why don't you, come take a closer look?
No, stay, like, on the other side of the room, God. Jake, let's watch this. Let's think about this for a second, okay, buddy?
I wonder, like where I'm reading this and I'm thinking about, like, how people who didn't read Candy reacted to this. Because they didn't know how bad it ended up.
I'm sure they thought this was, like, they were hoping for this to happen. And
I wonder how bad this ends up.
Imagine if this is just... I really hope this is the complete opposite, where just nothing happens between them, because that would make me so fucking happy, man.
Agreed. But that's not going to happen, because Jake is a sucker.
For real.
She's really bad at this, she thinks. This being seduction. She's so bad at it, in fact, that Jake immediately recognizes her ruse for what it is. Laughing nervously, he sucks the whole glass of scotch into his mouth in one go, ice cubes and all. Oof, ouch.
Ow. Ow.
And then, because he can't actually stand the taste of scotch, immediately spits it back out, ice cubes and all, spraying Jane's brand new sexy dress with quite an ungentlemanly fountain of boozy spittle. Jane is lashed both by the scotch in her face and how quickly her plan has fallen apart. Jake!
Thank God. Thank God. Oh my God, it didn't happen. Ariah, it didn't happen.
I wouldn't celebrate just yet, because who knows?
Yeah, but now he's spit all over. There's no real saving it from this stage right here. Pajamas.
You say that. But I'm still worried.
Yeah, same.
Pajamas.
Oh
no, all over my new dress.
Jane, I am so sorry. Here, let me help you clean that giggle water off of your kettle drums.
No, you've done enough. Goodness, you've only been here 2 minutes and already... Why did I ever think...
Jane, please, I insist.
She tries to push him away, but Jake considers himself to be a gentleman. He helps her to the floor and shrugs off his dress coat so that he can use it to wipe her down. She's staring at the ceiling like she hopes it will split open and suck her into a supermassive black hole, so she doesn't have to deal with anything that's going on right now. Some of Jake's scotchy slobber is on her glasses, which is not the place she was planning on having it tonight.
Is this why you wanted to see me? To show off this proper bit of frock?
Oh, no, of course not. I just wanted to talk about the economy.
By Jove, the economy? Jane, my dear friend, please tell me all about the economy.
Jake doesn't care about the economy, but he's an ardent supporter of changing the subject. It's doing quite well right now, actually.
I should hope so.
But it might not continue to do so in the future, which you can guess is a great concern of mine, being that I am a pioneering entrepreneur. Oof.
Well, frig, that's awful, and you should do everything in your power to adequately explain to me this conundrum, which I admit I am not up to dick on.
Jane laughs quite sincerely as he ruffles his jacket through her hair. Oh, Jake, you really have no idea what's going on, do you?
Wait, is this about the election muck-up? Because
Jane puts a finger on Jake's lip and shushes him. It's a very smooth move, a total recovery. He shushes, and she directs him onto one of the couches that line her office. They stumble there, his jacket and hands wrapped around her shoulders. I hate this.
Uh-oh.
I hate this so much.
I celebrated too soon.
This fucking sucks.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, as I said, I'm like, I don't trust this comic.
Uh-oh.
/book /fanfiction?
/ Andrew Hussie work.
I'm sure you've had an earful about the election already. I apologize. You must understand that my mind is quite occupied by it right now. But I've been doing an awful lot of thinking as of late.
I see. About what?
About everything, I suppose. About my life, about all of our lives, and the trajectory they've taken since we helped create this new universe. You must admit that it's a lot to grasp, and I'm not certain we've all taken the time to truly contemplate our place in it.
Interesting.
Oh boy. This is not really the kind of conversation you initiate if you're looking to extract a sexual deal out of someone. It is, however, the kind of conversation you might have with a childhood friend who has become somewhat emotionally estranged from you, both so busy with their exciting careers and misuse of their godhood. Who are they now? The same Jake and Jane who passed like particularly dysfunctional ships in the night of a decade ago? Or is Jane wiser and Jake kinder? Are they better versions of themselves? Jane absently rubs the narrow strap of her dress between two fingers, vainly attempting to sort out her jumbled thoughts.
That's an earful, Jane.
I know. It's a headful, too. I can't help but worry. Haven't we really just been drifting these last 7 years? Drifting both in the sense of failing to fulfill our personal potentials and in the sense of, well, drifting apart. Jane pulls a leg up beneath her, which slides her bare knee between Jake's. The couch dips a bit under the weight.
No! I'm pissed. I'm so pissed. If something happens here, I'm gonna throw a fit. Like I have a window sitting right here, and there may be 14 inches of snow outside, but I'm okay with getting frostbite.
Oh boy.
How can a frost bite? There's no teeth.
That's a good question.
I must admit, I never thought of it that way.
I know. It's just that we're both so busy all the time. The years go by so fast, and I miss you. Jane blinks. Jake. Jeez. Look, it's one letter off. I hate they're too similar.
Nice. You just completely confused two characters. One victim and one fucking...
Shh. Jake blinks. His eyes wet and glossy beneath his spectacles.
Please don't tell me he's falling for this shit. No. Well, I suppose that I miss you too, Jane.
The moment goes from calculated to genuine in an instant. Jake drops his coat and glides his hands down her bare arms so that he can hold her? Yeah, that's definitely what he's doing, holding her, and not too gently either. Jane really is quite pretty, with the candlelight glittering across her spectacles, her hair damp, and her front teeth poking out from beneath her lip. She's so pretty that Jake can't stop himself from sliding a hand up to her neck and using his thumb to tip her face back, so that they're staring right at each other in the low light, close enough that Jane could probably smell his disgusting Scotch breath. She definitely does smell it because her cute nose scrunches up, and she laughs again, a very small private noise, a noise just for him.
Wait. Wait, can we talk about the fact that wait, this isn't calculated anymore. This is just a genuine moment now. Does that make it any better?
No.
I second that opinion, but I just want to know. I'm trying to hold out hope. Think about it like this. Maybe since this is genuine, maybe the rest of it will stay genuine.
Yeah, but the election.
No. I just want to be happy. Let me be happy.
So he kisses her. Very well, if he does think so himself. Dirk has given him a lot of uninvited but incisive criticism on his kissing over the years, so Jake wouldn't be surprised if he was considered the best kisser on the entire planet at this point. Jane breathes in, shocked for a moment, even more shocked when Jake hooks a hand around her waist and pushes her down. She makes a startled noise into his mouth. Then she throws her arms around his neck. It should be awkward, taboo at this point, considering the history between them. But it all happens so easily. Jane undoing Jake's bow tie, Jake hooking his thumb under the hem of her dress and hiking it up another inch. Oh. It really cannot spare for decency's sake. There is nothing awkward about this moment, Jake thinks. Two old friends, hot as the blazes, given in to passion. Who could accuse them of impropriety? Nobody would worth their salt, in his book. It all makes perfect sense. The inevitable consummation of a whirlwind romance fit for the big screen.
I disagree.
Really, the only surprise is how long it took to happen. Jane is a beautiful lady, that's for sure. She always has been. But she's only grown more ravishing as she's come into full blossom of her womanhood. Smooth, silky skin, thick, dark lashes, full, feminine lips, not to mention curves like the Dickens. It's all certainly conductive to activities of close phonological proximity to the phrase. Jane's baby-soft palm, unmarred by the calluses of deft swordsmanship, slides down Jake's cheek and dips under the collar of his shirt. This is like it's written like a smut fanfiction, just saying.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable.
She caresses his clavicle and then tenderly trails her fingers up the side of his neck, steadying herself as she deepens their passionate kiss. Jane's touch is nothing like Dirk's. Dirk has palms so rough that they sting, especially on skin that's thin and supple, like the column of the throat, right over the jugular. He pulls away from Jane's lips and lifts her spectacles off her nose. It's a motion that still feels practiced and familiar, despite how long ago he'd last had the precious chance. Those rare intimate moments that Jake was allowed to slip off Dirk's shades and look upon his face, unobstructed, stand out more clearly in his mind than almost any other in his life. Jake swallows. He can't stop thinking about how Dirk kissed him last time they didn't hook up, which is a thing, of course, that didn't happen. So how can Jake possibly be thinking about it? Is it just some sort of Pavlovian response that's making his heart race like this? He does his best to push the untimely thoughts away, but his fingers tremble as he sets Jane's glasses aside. Jane gazes back at him, cheeks flushed with desire, eyes dark and alluringly coy. All her features are round and soft, welcoming, soothing, the kind of face that makes you feel like you've come home. Dirk is the exact opposite. Long nose, thick eyebrows, pointed features, a man who seems built down to the very essence of his soul to be sharp. Hard to approach, harder still to touch. But when looked at from the right angle, he's anime levels of handsome. Breathtakingly, choir of angels singingly, anime handsome. The sort of man you can't keep your hands off, no matter how jagged his edges. But his hair is so much softer than it looks. His heart, too. When a heart like that opens up to you, it opens the whole world as well. A world of increased appreciation for combat, philosophy, life, love.
Yelp!
Jake yelps and rolls off the couch in such a panic that almost takes Jane with him. Yes. She flies at her feet, startled, breathing fast, and readjusts her disheveled clothes.
Get away! Get away!
Jake, are you quite okay?
I have to go right now, sorry.
Jake's already hovering 2 feet off the ground before Jane can say another word. He doubles back to the end of the office and grabs a bottle of near-untouched scotch before kicking open the latch to one of Jane's giant windows and letting himself out. He's got a lot of things to think about, apparently. What the ever-living fuck?
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Oh my god.
I'm so happy.
Jake,
I'm so happy you made us escape. My boy.
Jake couldn't stop thinking about Dirk during that, I've noticed.
My boy. I don't care if him and Dirk get back together. Dude, this is amazing, and he needs to stay as far away from Jane as possible.
Jane stands alone in her office, confused, horny, and kind of pissed. She slowly slips the strap of her dress back over her shoulders. Then she closes the window, sits at her CEO chair, and speed dials the number for a one-man kitchen cabinet.
Yo, what up?
Not Jake, apparently.
Wow, going straight for the double entendre, huh? How much of that scotch do you have?
I think a few drops made it into my mouth when Jake spewed his beverage directly onto my face.
Things went that badly, huh?
This is so embarrassing. You know, I wouldn't have approached it this way if I wasn't absolutely certain its margin of error was virtually non-existent. I mean, it's Jake.
Were you nice to him?
Well, I
told you, you can't be nice to Jake. Listen, Jane, I don't really have time to jam right now. Why don't you leave Jake to me?
Jane squeezes her eyes shut and very softly and quietly bumps her head against the edge of her desk. Why do I feel as if we have this exact conversation almost word for word before?
Because we have, many times.
Well, what do we do? I'm afraid I've gone and... Or what do you do now? I'm afraid we've gone and made things worse.
Like I said, let me work on it. I know what I'm doing.
You always say that.
I haven't been wrong yet.
Jane, head still planted firmly on desk, laughs at that. There's a sardonic twist in Dirk's voice that intentionally recalls every time he's ever fucked up. But it satisfies Jane, nevertheless. She knows that he won't fail her. Fine, please call me later so that we may strategize, and also because I could use some emotional support after what just happened.
I might be caught up for a while.
Why is that?
Can't explain right now. Catch you on the flip side, Jane.
Wait. Dirk doesn't wait. There's
Click.
a shadow cast on his doorway that is much more important than in the election. Rose is braced against the doorframe, one hand on her purse and the other on her waist. She has her head tipped just so, her pale hair falling across in her face at an angle that bisects her perfectly neutral expression. Dirk sets down his phone and acknowledges her with a nod. Well, go on. Oh boy.
Yeah, do you remember the conversation that they had?
Yeah, they were talking. Yeah, because Rose is still sick in this universe.
Yeah, she's having like psychological issues. It's not like in Candy where it just all went away.
Yeah, Candy went away as soon as it became outside of canon.
Yeah, but
this one because it's still in canon.
Yeah, exactly. She's dying.
Yeah.
Not literally. Well, maybe literally. I don't know. But her
Maybe
brain's
literally.
about to explode. Yeah. It's like a migraine on steroids.
Yeah.
As a proponent.
Lord English.
We're
back to this. Oh boy, you ready for this?
Yeah.
John, fight Lord English.
Let's go.
All around you is pandemonium, a multichromatic cyclone of shrieks and clashing colors as Mina's ghost army claws at the borders of Paradox space. Wait, that is her army, right? It seems like it's been so long since you've thought about any of this, but you're pretty sure this is the army that you, Mina, Vriska, and the other Circuit were trying to raise. So it's true then, the Juju has finally unloaded you, exactly where you needed to be. Every screaming body pitches down and goes white the closer it gets to the black hole above you. And below, front and center, is Lord English himself, the big deal version, pimped up, hulked out, and throwing a huge universe-ending tantrum. Unlike his younger form, his eyes aren't flickering wildly. They've locked in place, an 8-ball in each socket. You briefly wonder what that means, but your curiosity is interrupted by a massive outburst of technicolored dragon breath coming from his mouth. The laser show tears its way through a squadron of ghosts led by... Is that Tavros? Seems like an awful choice to lead an army, but what do you know? Wasn't Vriska supposed to be leading the charge? Where is she, anyway?
I love that.
Listen.
I love it.
You don't have time to dwell on Vriska. She's probably somewhere around here, biding her time, waiting to execute her masterstroke and finish English off at just the right moment. Like the cunning bitch she is. No, you can't think about that now. You're becoming enraptured by the sound surrounding you. Not a sound, a sensation. A subharmonic symphony that you can only hear in your bones. This is it, the end of Paradox Space. The thing you saw in your anime dreams. A hard lump of air travels down your throat, but you... Don't hesitate. Behind you, the Juju disappears, sucked out of reality with a pop. You move your arms in a dumb little motion, sort of like jazz hands, and summon up a wisp of wind to keep your cracked glasses in place. You then pull one of your sickest hammers out of your strife deck. Your teen friends follow suit. You cast a glance back over your shoulder at them. They all look pretty cool. Rose knitting light around her with the quills of Echidna. Dave with his sword Khalid Vul at the ready. I remember the pronunciation, hell yeah.
I didn't.
Trailing time distortions behind him that look, if you don't squint, a lot like JPEG artifacts. Jade's got her favorite gun cocked and ready, with her ears perked up.
As she should.
Let's do this! Don't get overconfident. We have to do it exactly like we discussed. First... But Rose didn't get to finish what she was trying to say. Lord English's mouth roars open and a wave of energy blasts through your group. Rose is the only one caught in it. She dissolves in slow motion. No! You can see an outline of her body in shadow. Shit. One arm thrown up over her eyes, shoulders pulled up defensively, cape billowing out behind her. She leaves an afterimage of shimmering light in her wake and then dissipates, drifting apart like a handful of salt tossed out to sea. You can almost hear the cosmic clock counting down. Tick, tock. Break heads, and a chime to accompany your fate. Heroic. Oh, God. Rose is dead.
No
This Rose is dead.
Fucking way. They just murked Rose.
Rose, no! Jade doesn't wait to fire. Space splinters open around her, so loudly it drowns out the fire from her rifle. Lord English raises one of his giant fuck-off hands to deflect her anomaly-powered bullets, giving Dave an opportunity to attack. Dave raises his legendary blade and aims for the impressively beefy torso. It should be a sure hit, like slashing the side of an unusually broad green barn, but he whiffs completely. It's a wonder how such a big man can move so fast. Jade inspects her rifle and tosses it aside. What is she doing? With all the powers of a witch of space at her command, combined with the infinite abilities of a first guardian, she's still messing around with the basic firearms? She makes two tight fists and strikes a pose befitting of a warrior about to power the fuck up. She focuses and strains. A darky snarl rips its way through her clenched teeth. A hazy aura envelops her, as space buckles and lenses about her form. And then, nothing. No crackle of electricity, no licks of chartreuse flame. She searches within, realizes her power source is completely unavailable to her. Then she looks up, and it dawns on her. That thing in the sky, that hungry black orb gobbling up everything in sight, that's where the green sun used to be. It's been swallowed completely by a black hole. The realization is horrifying. She feels suddenly absolutely helpless.
No.
Jade opens her mouth to scream for help, but she's cut off. A razor-sharp fragment of reality slams into her back. It skewers her, exiting right through the center of her space symbol on her hoodie. She chokes and goes limp.
This is not
encircled by a halo of her own blood.
Fuck.
Get in there! You're barely a minute into the battle, and both your tactician and your most powerful player are down. You summon a windstorm and momentarily keep Lord English preoccupied, and try to grab your sister's waist. Instead, you catch her by the hem of her shirt. Lord English struggles to emerge from the wind prison you just whipped up. You can see one of his arms flailing just outside the circumference of your storm. Tavros has pulled himself to his feet and, recognizing English's temporary state of vulnerability, directs the ghost on a side to attack. No one is paying attention to him. Jade is floating away from you. You're having a hard time maintaining your whirlwind, your glasses, your hammer, and your grip on her. Lord English's head has emerged from the apex of your storm. He looks directly at you, and his mighty jaw creaks open slowly, well beyond the reasonable capacity of any mortal mandible hinge. You stare directly down at the dark barrel of his throat, which readies another terrible laser shot. There's not much time to react. You let Jade go. No. She floats in literal slow motion, buoyed by the billows of her skirt. You summon a gust of wind and push her farther away from battle. You're hit by a blowback from the current, and a line of her blood splashes across your face. But releasing her has created enough separation, just as you'd hoped. The laser breath passes between you, narrowly missing you both. You reel back like you've just been punched. Your control of the storm goes haywire for a second, long enough for Lord English to free his gaudy gold peg leg from it, and more catastrophically, for you to drop your already broken glasses. You whirl around and swing your hammer to bop his horrible deadly skull back into your storm. You can't really see what's going on, but you hear a gigantic crunch, and then another, and then another. Sounds like a cereal commercial is playing outside the periphery of your vision. Dave!
What?
Is Lord English eating my hammer?
Yeah, dude, he totally is.
What the fuck? It's a true outrage. This isn't gonna work. Waging battle without your glasses. Lord English has just eaten one of your sickest hammers due to your blind folly. You take a deep breath and dive down, right into the sea of ghosts. You land clumsily, palms first, and do an accidental handspring onto a bunch of alternate timeline trolls you don't recognize. Hey guys, anyone see a pair of glasses down here? It's pretty important. Everybody shrugs. This gaggle of lost souls collectively personifies uselessness. It is inconceivable to you that a single one of them will survive this battle. Perhaps it's for the best. Behind you, the wind barrier tears open. Lord English explodes from his confinement and swings his peg leg through the army. Ghosts scatter like bowling pins, many flying into the cracks in space. Before the leg hits you, a troll leaps into action and blocks the blow. Her trident makes a satisfying ring off the round of the peg and sends it skidding backwards. Whoa, that was a close one.
Shell of a time to finally show up.
Sorry, we were kind of busy. Bit of a weird question, but have you seen a pair of glasses down here?
Are these what you're looking for?
Tavros appears behind you and hands over your glasses, still in two pieces. You return them to your face so you can take a quick assessment of the battlefield. Oh boy. Lord English, now free from your wind trap, is stomping around, throwing an even bigger shit fit than before. The black hole above him is getting bigger. You can see ghosts at the edge of the battlefield tumbling through space toward it, distorted, screaming and helpless. Also, Tavros suddenly is leading an admirable charge of about 6 ghosts to attack Lord English's flesh foot. You wince, because you can see what's coming before it happens. It's a shame because you didn't have the chance to thank him for finding your glasses. English raises his knee and stomps 3 ghosts into oblivion. The other 4, Tavros included, get vaporized in a beam. Well, OG Tavros is dead. That sucks.
Shit.
Well, dead again.
Why do they keep murdering my boy? He's got
The ghost
same
army seems to
sign
be
as me.
thinning out pretty badly by now. Most of the ones remaining are either fleeing or getting sucked into the hole. You whip out another hammer, a classic this time, the Wrinkle Fucker. Hell yeah!
The
Wrinkle Fucker.
A classic.
I miss the Wrinkle Fucker.
A classic.
Its boinging pair of irons are hot, hissing, and ready for action. You use the wind to propel yourself back toward the fray. Dave is slicing paper cuts into English's torso, with glancing nicks from his blade, but the monster is spry as ever, making him a difficult target. You take advantage of his distracted cavorting to whack him on the side of his skull. Your hammer connects with a satisfying crunch, and he stumbles back, but recovers and lunges forward in motion so quick you can barely follow it. English grabs the Wrinkle Fucker with his mouth. You hold on tight, but he starts shaking his head rapidly, the way a dog with a rabbit tries to break its neck. He chomps down hard and shatters the hammer's head, gobbling down the broken pieces. You watch incredulously as the giant dude eats yet another one of your favorite hammers. Unbelievable! He lunges for the handle in a ridiculously greedy attempt to finish what's left of your weapon. You recoil, careening out toward the black hole, but manage to stabilize yourself. You look at the handle of your tragically masticated Wrinkle Fucker. Masticated, I love that.
Masticated's a funny word.
Shrug and toss it into the hole. Glancing back down toward your foe, you notice Mina still appears to be hanging on, clinging to his left suspender.
Yo, hold on, going in for the krill.
I love Mina.
The fucking fish puns.
I love Mina so much. Oh boy. Oh, I'm not even halfway done with this page. Sheesh.
Sheesh. Sorry.
You're good. Dave takes a step back to provide some space for whatever killer move she's got up her sleeve. She raises her trident and jams it into the back of Lord English's neck. English reacts as if he's been stung by a bee. He howls and rears up, throwing Mina off his back with a force that sends her hurtling out into space. You can't track her into the void with your eyes. She's flung so far and so fast. You can only assume the worst. Glancing back down, you see English hasn't wasted any time after ridding himself of the irksome heiress. He has Dave pinned under his big green foot and is applying pressure. You've got to act fast. You flip out another hammer, you don't care which, and send it flying toward the monster's face. English quickly whips his head in the direction of the sailing hammer and swallows it whole. You rush after it, reaching for another hammer without thinking. The brief distraction, aside from providing English with another tasty hammer snack, seems to have brought Dave just enough wiggle room to slip out from under the foot, regain his composure, and draw his sword.
John, I need a little.
Dave ducks a wide blow from English's swinging fist. He backs up nervously, holding his sword out in front of him with 2 shaking hands.
Anything. I need a little anything. Literally any stupid fucking thing you can do.
I'm on it! You pop your strife deck open and spam the hell out of your remaining hammers. A few excellent hammers that cost you a fortune to make, a bunch of shitty hammers you made just as a joke, and everything in between. With another flick of your wrist, you spin them around so fast that they form a perfectly impenetrable barrier of pure shitty hammer. Okay, the barrier is probably not the slightest bit impenetrable, but you've got to psych yourself up a little bit for this next attack, somehow. In your hands is a weapon that you haven't thought about using in a long time, the Pop-O-Matic Vrilly-Hoo. Oh boy. It hums with both tricksy energy and barely contained potential for mischief. You strike the baddest ass pose possible to strike while wielding such a clownish-looking implement, and begin your advance. However, you're interrupted by a voice screaming out behind you. It's half familiar, half cat?
My favorite character!
Who voiced Davepetasprite? I don't even remember.
Davepetasprite. I would love to do Davepetasprite. It's like voice somewhere in between Dave and Nepeta. How the fuck do I pull this off? This gets complicated. What was the voice we even had for this shit?
I have no idea. That was so long ago. That was almost a year ago. It might have been a year ago.
It
probably literally less than a year ago.
Was probably a year ago. God, this is the best character though. I can't fuck this up. I don't know, man. Wait. I don't fucking know. Just run it, and if I get yelled at, the comments will yell at me. I really don't care. By 6 months from now, or however long it takes for this to get uploaded, probably won't be 6 months. By the time this comes out, I won't care enough for them to yell at me for my voice.
Fair enough. You whip your head around in time, just in time to see a bolt of orange and green energy racing by you like a bullet. It slams into Lord English and sends him stumbling.
I'm back.
Dave stands there with his sword, absolutely agog, his expression perfectly reflecting a blend of horror and total inability to process who or what he's looking at.
Dude, I can't believe you don't recognize me. It's me, Davesprite. And also Nepeta? Now we're called Davesprite Squared.
Davepetasprite.
Davepetasprite Squared. We permanently merged forms and worked out all our shit. Oh, well, that sounds fucked up, but okay.
Davepeta spreads their wings, sending waves of warm light through the battlefield. Yeah, that's right. Davepetasprite uses they, them.
Mm-hmm.
The light feels comforting somehow when it hits you. Behind them, Lord English is struggling to his feet again, roaring as he rolls from one side of the to the other like a kicked-over turtle. His muscles are so huge, it's hard for him to maneuver. It would be hilarious if only all of reality weren't tearing apart at the seams around you. The sky shivers and shakes, raining needles of breached matter that burst and shatter at all angles, opening new voids where they land. Above the bedlam, Davepeta is finishing up on an inspiring speech. You realize you tuned out most of it due to the surrounding chaos.
I know it looks awful right now, but we can do it. In fact, we're literally the only ones who can do it. After all, it is our destiny. Meow.
Oh boy. Well, the last bit was good, you guys. At least you caught the end, which was presumably the most important and uplifting part. You and Dave exchange a look that silently says all that needs to be said right now. Davepeta is right. You three are the only ones left, and there's no room for failure. Final round. Final round! The last leg of the fight proceeds like a well-oiled machine. Perhaps a well-oiled machine careening down a steep hill toward the edge of a cliff. But well-oiled nonetheless. You, Dave, and Davepeta, that's what you call a team, and not just because upon examining your surroundings, you three appear to be the last three living or dead beings left in existence. But, damn it, you'll take it. You turn your hammers into an efficient spiral, a carousel of ass-kicking, and direct its fury right at Lord English's face. The butts of the hammers hit him over and over again, like racking up points in a slot machine. Dave manages to carve a red line up Lord English's side, drawing real blood this time. The slash snaps another one of his suspenders in half. He must sever something else, too. Because the sword makes a gristly, meaty squelch when he pulls it out. Dave turns a half second too late to avoid getting sprayed by the wound. English howls and swipes at Dave, not wasting any time you bury a hammer in his gaping mouth. Unsurprisingly, it gets swallowed, so you throw another one. Now you're just throwing them into his fucking mouth like you're feeding him Scooby snacks. It's a gluttonous display that you won't soon forget. You realize you seem to be stuck in a cycle and are in serious danger of running out of hammers. Dave, cat, sprite thing, help!
Coming, bro.
Davepeta scrapes their cool Wolverine claws.
I forgot that they had the Wolverine claws.
I know.
So cool.
The image of Davepetasprite Squared is fantastic.
It's so cool.
You can look up an image if you want.
Oh yeah, good point. Davepetasprite.
Absolutely love Petasprite Squared. Because no images could be a spoiler, considering that there's no images in this. Yeah.
God, look at how badass they are.
I love them.
God, they're so cool. Oh my God, they're beautiful, and I love them. God, it's so cool. Davepeta scrapes their cool Wolverine claws up Lord English's back, and then kicks him in the back of the head. You time it perfectly to complete the combo with a well-placed Villy Who undercut to his jaw. On the snapback, Lord English gets the head of the hammer in his mouth. Oh no, not again! You big ugly oaf! I really, really like this hammer. Maybe it's the sentiment attached to the hammer, or maybe you're just fed up with this gross pig treating your full inventory of hammers like an all-you-can-eat buffet. But the bullshit stops here, you think, which is why you refuse to let the handle go when English wraps his tongue around it and unhinges his jaw with a sick, wet pop. You plant one foot under his nose and the other on his mandible and tug back. He makes a guttural sound at the back of his throat and sucks the Villy Who in deeper. Your heel slips on some drool and your whole leg skids straight into his mouth. You twist off balance and fail to catch yourself. You only let go of the hammer when you feel the wet walls of his throat constrict around your ankles. The pressure sucks you in up to your knees in one gulp. Villy Who is in his stomach, and you're following it down quicker than you could even process. Is this the end? No, you think, this is such an unfairly stupid fucking way to die. John!
Davepeta flashes behind you and hooks their arms under your shoulders. They yank you out, clearing your head from the monster's maw at least. But English rehinges the jaw and clamps down on your chest hard. Davepeta reacts quickly, shoving their claws between his molars. You can hear them growling as they slowly twist their arm to pry the massive jaw open. You're not dead yet, but Lord English definitely got a big, sharp tooth in you. Your vision reels and goes blurry, then patchy, then dark, then... Don't fucking die! You pass out for... Well, you have no idea how long it was, but it was enough for Davepeta to get you out of Lord English's mouth. You can see their face floating above you. They're just a smudge of neon swimming in the sea of chaos.
Wow, you almost got bored to death.
What?
I'm afraid to say that you look like total shit, my dude. You should stay here while we wind this bitch down. Pearl meows me, you won't move.
Pearl meows?
Oh, promise.
Oh. Davepeta holds something up to your face. Your glasses. They tuck them into your front pocket of your hoodie and pat you on the head before darting through the air back toward the battle. You're woozy and don't have enough energy to stop yourself from drifting. There's blood floating up around you. Dilute and bubbly in the air like cooking oil and water. It's yours. Examine wound. You lift your chin and see it. Lord English's gold tooth cracked off at the base and embedded in your chest. It must be stuck between two of your ribs, you think, because it hurts like a bitch when you try to breathe. You keep your head up and watch the battle, but it's so indistinct and far away, playing out like a shadow theater in a wall. Dave finds his moment. He rams Kylid into Lord English's chest, all the way up to the hilt. It penetrates his flesh like nothing else has to this point. The wound around the blade sizzles slightly. The weapon, the unusual material it's made out of, is poison to English. He cries out in a cracked, broken staccato. It's an ear-splitting wail that cleaves the last of the furthest ring apart. Reality falls away from the mooring of all surrounding white light like a peeled eggshell. Okay, question. How is this going to go? Because I thought Lord English destroyed his clock so that he couldn't die. Do you remember that?
Oh, shit. Was that Lord
there was
English?
those...
I thought that was somebody else.
No, it was Caliborn.
Yeah.
Before he was Lord English, but that's because, the clock that says heroic or just. Mm-hmm. He destroyed that clock so that he wouldn't have a heroic nor just death.
Yeah.
Okay, my theory is he can't die. However, they can use the juju to trap him for eternity.
He either gets trapped or maybe, he gets sucked into that black hole.
I don't think he gets sucked into the black hole because we're pretty sure that leads to Candy, right?
That's a good point. I don't know.
Because we know Mina and Vriska both went through that black hole.
That's a good point. I don't know. I guess we'll just figure it out.
And that's how they got to the Candy world.
But
either he gets trapped forever in the Juju, or he gets teleported to Candy right after the ending of Candy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is possible, but that's scary.
That is terrifying.
Anyways, Dave is trying to get his sword free, but he's stuck. English's shrieks morphs into a sinister predatory rattle as his jaw creaks open. His mouth envelops Dave's head and snaps shut. He twists once, then twice, then with a crack, a disaster of blood instantly coats his skull and upper torso. He swallows the disembodied head whole with a triumphant gulp. The limp torso goes spiraling lazily in the direction of the black hole. Davepeta is yelling something indistinct. Or maybe they're just yowling at the top of their lungs. That's what you feel like doing right now, but you can't move. Your limbs feel like lead. You can salt your strife deck, but you've got nothing left. No hammers, no nothing. It's up to Davepeta, who appears to have plenty left. If not in the strife deck per se, then in the heart. During the beast's grisly moment of gloating over the younger Strider's death, Davepeta stands 20 paces behind him, crouches low to the ground, wiggles there behind, and pounces. Oh, God. Pounces.
No, stop.
They cling to English's back. This is so epic. This is fantastic.
I second that opinion.
Like, truly. This is so good.
I love, what I'm seeing in my mind's eye.
I know, this is the best page of the epilogues.
For real.
So far.
For real.
They cling to English's back, wrap their legs around his midriff, draw back their arms, and plunge their claws deep into the behemoth's armpits. Their gloved hands end up knuckle deep in the upper serratus muscles on either side. Davepeta then spreads their wings in an awe-inspiring display. An unwitting spectre viewing Lord English from the front might suspect the garish orange-green wings belong to English himself. Davepeta then, with all their might, lifts Lord English into the air and flies toward the black hole, trailing ribbons of blood and neon. English resists fiercely, but they're both already locked into the gravity well beyond any threshold of escape. He cannot do anything about it, no matter how much he screams and cries. This victory, this final sacrifice, has always been the destiny of Davepeta, as they have sensed from the moment they were created, and to die in this way, and this way has always been the destiny of Lord English. The black hole, the gaping, implacable, cosmic embodiment of the dead cherub. His long-departed sister finally welcomes Lord English home.
Yeah, I remember
English and
she's in
Davepeta-
there.
Yeah, she blew up the green sun and turned it into a black hole in her
remember
final
that.
action.
I remember that.
Before whatever the fuck happened in Candy, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's a completely different story.
Where she like became Jade. She became Jade, like a different Jade.
Yeah, exactly.
English and Davepeta are sucked in with a subatomic whimper. The reunion sends shockwave. Oh wait, Jade wasn't killed. Well, Jade wasn't killed by Lord English. She went into the black hole while dying.
Mm-hmm.
So this Jade must be the Jade that somehow Calliope takes over.
That's weird. Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is really interesting.
Theory. I don't know if it's just like implied, if it's I'm completely off book, or if they're gonna say it, but that's my theory.
It's very complicated.
The black hole, the gaping implacable cosmic embodiment of dead cherub, his long departed sister finally welcomes Lord English home. English and Davepeta are sucked in with a subatomic whimper. Oh boy. The reunion sends the shockwaves through the pitiful remains of the paradox space, and then everything is wholly, utterly, and categorically silent. It's over. Lord English is dead. But it doesn't feel over somehow. You don't feel like you've won. You can barely feel anything, actually. This is worrying.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is not
John.
the end. Because if they're in the black hole, then it's definitely going to be in going to be in like the ending of Candy, like after that.
Yeah.
Whew, okay, but obviously if you're reading Meat first, you wouldn't know that.
Exactly.
But you don't feel it. But it doesn't feel over. Somehow you don't feel like you've won. You can barely feel anything, actually. All you can think about from now is Davepeta. How they were so unfettered
That's
and brave.
beautiful.
How they sacrificed themselves by flying right into the black hole like a fucking piece of garbage. You can almost hear Dave saying, "May God rest his soul." It collapsed against whatever is passing for the floor at this moment, of utterly null corporeal conditions surrounding you. It doesn't feel possible. You're not even sure you can even trust your perception well enough to believe it, but it seems to be over. You've convinced yourself of this truth well enough to allow yourself to exhale. Enough to allow yourself to suddenly acknowledge the agony coursing through your body, emanating from the gold tooth lodged in your chest. Enough to allow you to succumb to the overwhelming urge to sleep. Close your eyes.
Shit.
Well, fuck.
That was a lot.
Hell yeah.
That was a lot.
It was a lot.
Well, at least we get
that page was so long.
At least we finally figured out what happened in that fight.
But that was so good.
It was really good.
I'm so happy that page exists.
Me too.
That page makes everything. Makes the entire epilogue worth it. I'm officially 100% satisfied with the ending of Homestuck.
Davepeta's great. We love them.
Davepetaspite.
We love them.
Fantastic. They're fantastic.
They're amazing.
Anyways, surprisingly enough, we are only an hour into this video, and not even, and 20 minutes of that is banter that is not in the video. So we continue.
Pretty much.
Let's see if we can get to the end of the epilogue today. We'll see. This epilogue.
I think we might be able to.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many pages it is, but we'll try. Anyways. When I was a child, I wrote a novel. Oh my god!
What was it called again?
Jay.
Shit, it was like the wizard thing.
Yeah. Jay, we still haven't read this. We skipped over it, never got back to it.
Got back to what?
The wizard fic.
Shit, yeah.
We skipped it, and everyone got mad at us, and we never went back to it.
I still don't think we're ever gonna go back.
I think it'd be really funny to do it as the final Homestuck DLC.
Can we do that after we're done with Hive Swap and everything?
Yeah.
Finally go back.
Yeah, the final Homestuck video, or I mean, either that, or if we don't want to wait that long, because it's gonna be like a 10-minute video.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very short.
Exactly.
Because we for the Homestuck playlist, not the Epilogues playlist, we still plan on doing the rest of the Paradox Space comics. There's not that many left. We did most of them that stream.
Yeah, we only had
as
4.
well as the
dude. That stream was so whack.
As well as the snap dates, and then we have a fan animation reaction video that is already recorded. We just haven't edited it as of now.
Oh yeah, I forgot we did that.
Yeah, so I've still got that footage, and I'm gonna plan on editing at some point. And then one more video after that, the final video in the Homestuck playlist, the final DLC can be Complacency of the Learned.
I love it.
I love it.
Just leave it till the fucking end.
Hell yeah. And then DR2. Yeah.
I'm excited to get back to that game.
Me too.
Anyway.
When I was a child, I wrote a novel. Rose is speaking with her eyes closed. She is weary, but standing for now, near one of Dirk's work tables. She has both hands resting on the chassis of her recent project, Sawtooth 3.1. Sawtooth! Sawtooth and Square Wave!
Fucking Sawtooth, man.
The energy humming inside its mechanical heart warms her palms. Dirk snorts, but in a good-natured sort of way. That's the closest he usually gets to laughing.
Another one of those Lalonde childhood wizard fics, I presume?
He leans his elbow in the table and stares at her over the rims of his shades. The weight of Dirk's scrutiny is potent. She looks away. Complacency, if they learned.
Ah, the wizard fic, then.
Yes. Of course it was nothing like the polished masterpiece penned by the middle-aged version of myself from your world, nor did this saga span as many volumes. 13-year-old Rose only managed to draft the one, it shames me to say.
How pathetic.
I know. Rose steps back, trailing her fingers over the rivets that line Sawtooth 3.1's chest. Eyes closed, again, she passes in front of the window. With the sunset behind her, she's a shadow ringed in yellow light, that turns white at the tips of her hair. Though I must say, in defense of young Rose's literacy and integrity, having carefully studied all volumes of the Elder's work, and then revisiting my youthful preteen scribbles of passion, I observed more power and emotion in the single ragged notebook than the full span of the best-selling series. It's more raw, it betrays considerably more sincerity than my young self was surely ever aware of stitching into the prose. It meant something. She turns to look at him. For all its plainly evident amateurism in the literary product of a child, I've come to believe it's a much stronger work standing alone in its a single volume, its meaning and symbolism potently compressed, and its message shining through more nakedly, undisguised by the cleverness of a more seasoned writer. But the basics are the same as the series you've read. The plot concerns the machinations of 12 wizard children. They revolt against the complacency of the wise, kind wizards, and go on to become responsible for great evils. It isn't their intent to commit atrocities, or within their nature to do so or originally. They become corrupted by an overabundance of knowledge, this kind never meant for the mortal mind to grasp.
Yeah, this sounds pretty close to my recollection of it.
It certainly wasn't the most fucked up thing I've ever written, but it was the most psychologically potent, the most personal, easily. But the personal aspects to it were all telegraphed through allegory and esoteric symbolism. I wrote it in what would be best described as a fevered haze, as if I were pulling inspiration from beyond myself, channeling the story rather than writing it. You could almost call the process. She runs a hand through her hair, fanning it into a halo, into the halo that is suspended in the air for a moment, trailing spiderwebs of gold and that dissolve into dust. She's smirking now, just a little. Enlightened.
I always do that whenever
Because Rose is a light player.
I love that. I don't know what it is, but I've always just ran my hand through my hair whenever I get, stressed or if I'm thinking. It's just something I always do. I don't know.
Me too. Any sort of anxiety.
It's just I had this interview once whenever I was going for leadership and marching band for the first time. And, I didn't think that I showed how nervous I was, but they're like, dude, you ran your hand through your hair at least 1,000 times. And I was like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I do the same thing. I'm sure you did it more when you had long hair.
Yeah, for sure. I still do it with short hair, which is bizarre. Yeah. I mean, at least I still have hair to run my hand through. I didn't shave my head. Because that would suck.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it with a buzz cut or something.
Yeah. I'm sure I'd do it with habit, though.
You'd try.
I'd do it, and they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? I'd be like, I don't know, man.
It just feels right.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
That sucked.
Yes.
It also sounds like it's the opposite of what was going on. It sounds more like you were trapped in a sort of dire creative fugue state, causing you to chart your own mental profile using metaphor revolving around murderous, omniscient children.
Well, consider the playful pun rescinded. Apologies for diminishing your presence with my suboptimal health and the toll it's taken on my wordplay.
Thanks, it's been very difficult for me.
You've been a real trooper. Anyway, my point is that I've long suspected my story was a pre-manifestation of my seer of light powers. I was seeing beyond my universe into another. My original thesis was that the children represented the 12 trolls who created our universe, but over the years I have come to see how malleable any apparent fact of numerological significance can be. Adaptable, actually. Adaptable to shifting circumstances. Changes in settings, stakes, and allied ensembles.
12. That's how many players went through the door at the end of our game.
Exactly. My friends and yours, as well as Kanaya, Karkat, Terezi, and Calliope.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to name them off, but Rose did it for me.
Dirk settles in against the wall beside Rose, shoulder to shoulder. She seems to take some measure of comfort in the physical proximity. When she finds herself leaning into him, but probably without thinking about it, Dirk imagines, because neither of them really do that, he doesn't pull away. If it's her, it's all right. He won't begrudge her a small weakness now.
I love, I don't know what it is, but physical touch is definitely, my love language, and it makes me, feel better when I'm around people and I can, lay on them and stuff, or, hug them and stuff. People hate me for it sometimes, especially people who don't like hugs, but honestly,
But honestly, they can go fuck themselves.
That's what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Obviously, if, you really, really hate it, I'm not going to force it on you or anything. But most of the time, they say they don't like it, and they let me hug them. So, what does that mean, exactly. You know? You think that's just them being awkward, not being able to tell me no? Nah, that's not how this works. God. Exactly. God, if you can't, tell me how you do it. No, it's just beginning to sound rapey. You describe this this is as a fact of numerological significance, which makes it seem you suspect those correlations are something less than utterly providential. That's a weird word. As if there is a part of you holding on to the belief that certain figures are coincidental, that their significance or repetition smacks of bullshit.
Do they smack? Do they not smack of bullshit?
They smack a bunch of things, and a bunch of other things also happen to smack of bullshit. The network of relations isn't perfectly traceable, nor can they all be mapped up to a one-to-one basis. It's unclear exactly when things are smacking, just as it's unclear that when it comes to bullshit, whether or not smacking accurately describes them as being done per se.
Rose looks up to Dirk with the ghost of a smile that she's inherited from him. On her face, its blankness is as enigmatic as the Mona Lisa's. Could it be that it is you who is smacking of bullshit, dear father?
Nah, I smack of many admirable qualities, as well as keen insights.
She doesn't seem to have another riposte to return, but her gaze lingers. She stares into his shades as if convinced she could see past them. Dirk allows their eyes to meet.
I'm just saying, it's all evidence of a grand design, an immortal metatextual apparatus beyond our ken, that we can only catch glimpses of when we're proverbially shitting our brains out through our nose, which both you and I know.
Which only you and I know, apparently, which is precisely my question. Her gaze drifts towards the ceiling. In my story, all 12 of the disciples fell victim to the vagaries of power. They were filled with the light of knowledge, and one by one they succumbed to it, turning insane or evil, or most often both. If this is the effect unchecked powers have on players living in the post-canon victory state, then why is it affecting any of our other friends?
Well, I got a few theories.
She shoots him a look. It's the kind of look Kanaya gives her sometimes. Only a few?
I love that. I mean, some of us have stopped using our powers completely. Not a whole lot of us of need for emergency resurrections or complex timeline manipulation on a planet that never had a conflict more serious than a sports ball riot or a rumpled hat shortage. But even aside from how often they're used, some powers don't lend themselves to the infinite expansion of one's mind the ways ours do.
I see. So what you're saying is, it's more of a matter of one's aspect than it is for whether one's powers are practiced further or allowed to atrophy.
Yep.
In that case, Rose sways suddenly. In that case, perhaps Terezi had the right idea. Getting away from this place, I mean. Maybe I was a fool for imagining I could settle down here. She jerks away from the wall in a tortured ragdoll motion, one hand snapping out vainly for something to brace herself against. She staggers forward a bit. Dirk doesn't reach out to steady her. Anyone else might have had the empathetic reflex to do so. Maybe it says something about him that he lacks the reflex, and maybe it says something about Rose that she prefers it this way. Try as she might to convince herself otherwise, through marriage vows and occasional banter about adoption with her wife, she is still a solitary creature. She gasps, sucks breath down her throat, and squeezes her eyes shut so hard that a tear rolls out. She slides back down the wall, sitting on the floor to save her energy. She's mostly composed when she raises her head. There's a bitter laughter at the edge of her words. How are you handling this so well? I assumed it was just that feigned Strider's stoicism, but you seem to be taking this
In stride? I hate that. I hate puns like that, you know. They just always come off tacky. Like, I don't ever hear a pun and think it's really that witty, you know? Or at least not puns like that. I don't know. I'm not a big pun guy. I won't lie, it's definitely making me feel pretty crazy.
Turk stands over her, adjusts his hair, crosses his arms, and he makes no motion about her joining her on the floor. He looks very together. He says the word crazy with the same intonation with which she might say good morning. It's hard to believe that he means it at all.
I don't know. I couldn't imagine not having that empathetic response to grab somebody whenever they were falling. Like, not having that reflex to instantly grab. I think most people have that. But I just feel like, yeah. I don't know. Or at least, I'd like to think that most people have the reflex to grab somebody whenever they're falling down.
Agreed.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But I've got more practice of this than you do. I spent most of my life before the game multitasking my entire fucking subconscious. I've had several times my age on paper to contemplate these mysteries. Years of prying open can after can of worm filled with answers I don't like. Cut yourself on the edge more than once and you stop getting surprised by all the blood. Shit.
I see.
That's depressing.
Rose wraps her hands around her upper arms like there's a winter chill rattling through the workshop. She shivers. It's not the headaches that concern me most. In fact, I don't think it's the expansion of my powers that is causing the headaches, but rather my own resistance to it. Sometimes I get this feeling that I could, if I really wanted to, just let go. It would be as easy as opening my eyes. It's like that feeling you get when you're far enough out of a dream to be conscious of it, but not yet awake. I'm caught in a liminal space between reality and reverie, where people once believed demons dwelled. But the only reason that demon is still sitting on my chest is because I refuse to banish it. All it would take is looking directly at it. I am forcing myself to stumble through my life as a sleepwalker. All this pain and sorrow could go away if I would just allow myself to wake up.
Then why don't you?
Because I'm not sure that the person opening her eyes will be me.
Interesting.
Her voice is lost at sea, swallowed by the swell of darkness lurking in her imagination. This time Dirk does reach out to her to steady her. He kneels in front of her, curls a knuckle under her chin, and lifts her face up to his level. Then in a deliberate motion, he pulls off his shades.
That's serious.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Might as well take off my own shades if we're talking like this. I understand completely.
My gosh. Rose's eyelids flutter heavy. She meets the intensity of his naked gaze aloofly. She's not aware that this is the first... she's not aware this is the first time that he's ever let her see it.
I know I sound pretty nonchalant most of the time, but actually I'm scared shitless of myself. I've always had this uncanny ability to chart a course from A to Z and not give a fuck about any of the letters in between. I'm not sure anyone should be allowed to have that much foresight, especially a guy like me.
Ouch.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
Like,
what upsets me most, I think... Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just... I couldn't imagine thinking like that, you know?
Agreed. Whew. What upsets me most, I think, is the distance this is all putting between me and everyone I know. The farther above the board you fly, the harder it gets to care about the pieces.
God, this is like self-deprecation on another fucking level.
Yeah.
Like knowing what you can do and not even trusting yourself with the stuff that you know you can. Shit.
Sucks, man.
God, that would be such a depressing existence. I hear you, and personally speaking, things usually work out for the best when all of these pieces do exactly what I say. So I'm also probably not the kind of guy who should get to be right all the time.
Rose laughs softly. She's not scared of the abyss she's staring into at all. She doesn't even think to look away. There's really not an inch of humility in you, is there?
I've just spent a lot of time in my own head. Maybe absolute self-absorption is the inevitable outcome when the self is all you've ever known, where you're drowning in it. I know there's plenty of things that suck about me. No point feigning humility about things that don't. And yes, I may be a shitty human being, but as a mechanic, I'm off to the fucking charts.
Rose's eyes have grown distant, almost mirror-like. Dirk can see him reflected in her vacant stare. All the pieces in their place, the mechanisms all running smoothly. She says this in a hollow tone. It's the disarming voice of a puppeteer ventriloquizes for a marionette. Her head falls toward her shoulder slowly. Dirk catches her cheek as she slides into sleep. It's difficult for the untrained ear to spot the exact moment in their conversation when the words she was saying stopped being hers and started being his, or maybe they were her words. Does it really matter? In many respects, they're basically the same person, aren't they? Kindred spirits in blood and perspective. The puppet masters of the respective games they like to believe they're playing.
But you already knew that, right? Wait.
What? Why is that orange?
That's what I was about to ask.
Jay. Jay. This is what Calliope was talking about.
What do you mean?
At the end of Candy.
About with Dirk?
Hold on, let me find the page. Because we had a theory it was Dirk, but I think like the Prince of Heart is what they said near the end, so we knew it was Dirk. But hold on, let me find the page. Calliope was explaining to Ariah, I believe, about some of this stuff. Hold on. Epilogues, start, Candy. It was near the end.
Mm-hmm. Shit.
It was Red Jade and Ariah.
Yeah, I think it was something like... God, I remember that.
Here we go,
really
I think.
Well.
So Calliope and Ariah was having a conversation. Calliope told Ariah to think of a story. Ariah came up with the signless story, and then Calliope kept asking her to make it shorter, and Ariah came up with a murder died and said fuck. Right? You remember this?
Yeah.
And then here, let me do a little
Isn't
screen
that the
cap.
vast expletive, or is that something else?
Yes. Let me zoom out a little bit. Where is it?
If you need me to look up the page on my screen, then you can just tell me what's going on.
Yeah, let's do it since you're recording, but could you reshare your screen while you're doing that?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't even realize it was gone.
No problem.
But if you tell me the page number...
There's the page. I sent it to you, and just do it in a new page, new tab.
There we are.
All right. So if you scroll down until you see words that are not colored red at all, like keep going. You see where it says there we go.
Where?
Scroll up some more.
There.
Up a little more. Little bit more, but yes. A little more. Keep going. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, so so you see like scroll up a little bit more, just slightly more. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
There you go. Perfect. So by the middle of the screen, Ariah says, a martyr died and said fuck. Calliope says, perfect. Ariah says, what's the point of this? And then, to establish an extremely short narrative for certain illustrative purposes, I'm going to repeat your story to you, and I want you to listen carefully. A martyr died and said fuck. Okay, listen, that's definitely a short story I just said. Yes, I'm going to repeat the story, but change the way I said it very slightly. Listen again carefully, and this is the black text. A martyr died and said fuck.
Mm-hmm.
This was a little different. I'm not sure how I can describe it, though. Yes, yes, you noticed because I told you to pay attention. You noticed because you were alert to the fact that there wasn't even something to notice at all. And now scroll down a little bit more.
Yeah.
To the other block of dark text.
Yeah.
Of dark text.
There. Right. Or do you need like the rest of it?
There you go. That part.
This.
Yeah. Yeah. See. Quite. His was a long story. Quite true. It's a story we've Canada. It's compact extensively. I'd like you to imagine this is the only way I've ever known the story, but then it continues. A martyr died and said fuck. His final howl of profanity reverberated through the ages. It inspired his devotees during the darkest times of a brutal regime. His lessons were guarded, kept secret, expounded in the shadows of tyranny. A vision of peace would inspire those who'd never conceived of it. And though his death was gruesome, it opened the world to a feeling of hope. This hope echoed through the ages. It gave his disciples the strength to persist as they perished in droves. It was the only light to shine on a dark planet for millions of sweeps. And if you are the one so devoted to his teachings, who sees truth in his words, it may be said with great authority that you are wrong. You are foolish to believe his lies. His martyrdom is false. His sacrifice hollow. Repent for your adherence to this illusion now, and perhaps leniency would be your reward. What just happened there? I just brought to your attention that the story you were listening to had a speaker with a specific identity. And where there is an identity, there can also be an agenda. I gained the power to bend your consciousness to become more amenable to my narrative agenda by lulling you into a more receptive state through the established rhythm of the storytelling. That's what Dirk just did.
Yeah.
Because now if we go back to the other page, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually go back to the end of the other, like the end of the previous page, where all this gray text or this dark text talking about how it's happening, and even near the end, it's talking kind of more like Dirk.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the very, very end, but you already knew that, right? Says Dirk.
Yeah. The things that you figure out if you've read one and then you start reading.
Right? Because that is what Calliope was talking about, and why the Prince of Heart was dangerous is because he has the control of this. That's why it was relevant to the story.
Damn.
Wow.
We're finally getting incredible. A payoff.
Yeah.
It's weird if we'd read Meat first, then we would have already known this.
Yeah. Right?
Shit.
All right, shall we, do you want to read this, or is this too much for you?
I don't mind to read it.
All right, go ahead.
All right. None of my friends have noticed it yet, but you have. You have the ability to read between the lines, to understand that our lives are blighted by this undercurrent of subtext, of narrative significance. Anyone paying attention could have guessed by now who's really telling this story. You're not so innocent either. I've caught you leering at some pretty personal moments. Are you having fun in being a voyeur? Just violating the shit out of everyone's privacy? Are these teenage romantic entanglements panning out the way you wanted? They never do. Maybe it helps being able to see everyone's thoughts described in plain sight, broadcasting the internal conflicts that compromise the doubts. Does it make it easier for you to accept the emotional faltering, the missteps, the basic inability to reach out and seize the opportunities for happiness, repeatedly dangled in their faces? Knowing their thoughts are transcribed by a third party, does it fill you with a sense of unease, of sickness, sensing that the observations made of their mental interiors may be tainted? Who the hell do you think I am? I can hear you wondering. You know who I am. Of course, the better question is, who do you think you are? What exactly is so special about you? Nothing, of course. I'm specific. I have a name, an agenda, a vision. I'm a monolith of concentrated narrative authority, relaying events to you and swaying them as I see fit. Whereas you are pointedly non-specific. You are the generalized, impotent witness to all this. You are essentially as beholden to me as those whose lives I describe. I even have the ability to describe what you actually means. I can take the you-ness away from you and put it inside another passive mark, such as John Egbert. You didn't even notice when I did that. You had no objections then. Why would you object now? So what makes John so special? The answer is something I'm sure you've suspected all along, but would rather not face, which is probably nothing. He isn't special. He's quite ordinary, I assure you, boring even, and getting less interesting by the minute as he's forced to confront his absolute lack of heroic purpose except as a pawn to be manipulated by a fatalistic reality. But I also like to make it clear, he's not even that remarkable in his unremarkableness. He's simply convenient for it. Anyone can be endowed with the you-ness if I think it achieves a certain goal. Even if the objective is merely to demonstrate the gambit's potential, to reveal their effortlessness behind it, to make a show of who matters and who doesn't, even if they do matter, for how long and for what purpose is dictated solely by the allocation of this faculty. You-ness can be stripped from the lowly Egbert just as easily as it was given, and then bestowed upon the mighty Circuit, but even then only long enough to dismiss the inglorious spotlight hog from the narrative forever. Good riddance. But I haven't revealed myself to you just to boast about the abilities arising from the gradual obliteration of the constraints of my consciousness. I've only taken a moment to answer a few questions, not ones I heard you ask, because again, you are not specific and therefore do not matter, but ones I imagined you asking. And by imagining these questions, they became less fake and as such demanded similarly non-fake answers. No, in truth, the time has come to make my presence known in order to start bringing my plans to fruition. It's time to get down to fucking business. John needs to wake up.
Holy shit.
I love it.
That's fantastic.
I love it. I love reading Dirk and Dirk just being an asshole to the audience. Yo, it's like whenever our audience listens to our YouTube videos, motherfucker.
Fuck yeah.
It's just like that.
Holy shit. And then if you click the next page, Clay just did.
No way. Oh my god, really? Already?
That was the epilogue.
Oh my god, and the rest of it, is the rest of it going to be yellow? Because we know?
At least for until this is addressed, probably.
Oh my god.
Because I think that's the whole thing. It's like Dirk's now the bad guy, right?
That's amazing.
He's puppet mastering everything, and then
I love it.
Gonna find a way to stop him.
I love it. Dude, that was so good.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
It's so good.
And I think that was a perfect sized episode, Epilogue 3.
My heart... Dude, today's been such a good session.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I'm so happy, dude. Everything's good, great. I love the fact that we finally get confirmation on that.
That's so good.
That's so fucking satisfying.
That is fantastic.
Dude, and Dirk just being an utter fucking asshole is amazing, and I love voicing it. It's so good.
Hell yeah.
It's not because I'm an asshole, I swear, because I've never done anything wrong with it in my entire life. However, I do enjoy it quite a bit.
Oh, that was fantastic.
God,
wow, so that reveal is fantastic. I feel like I understand more what's going on because we read Candy.
I'd like
more
somebody
lost.
to tell me I don't read enthusiastically now. Motherfuckers fucking commenting. Oh, my distinction is that
you're doing better.
He's less less energetic. Fuck you, man. I don't have enough time to care about it. But I'm spiting you specifically in the audience. I don't even know if this person even remembers commenting this at this point, or if they even watch our shit anymore. But fuck off. It's the general gist. Jay Wilson leaves no one. There are no witnesses, you know?
Of course. God, that was good.
God,
I'm so excited to see where this goes.
I love that as an ending. That's so good.
We had not only the Dirk thing, but also the fucking actual Lord English fight that was epic and amazing this episode. This was a good episode.
Davepetasprite's factually the best thing.
Davepetasprite's sacrifice.
Davepetasprite's the best thing that's ever graced our presence. You can't convince me otherwise.
Anyways, I guess we'll have to see what happens next time.
God, that was so good.
So,
I'm satisfied with that.
That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe so you know when these episodes come out in the future. Make sure you join our Discord because it's a lovely place to hang out and to get updates when we aren't updating YouTube for whatever reason. Be it community posts, being it because like community posts are not a thing. Although community posts are now available for people with 500 subscribers, so we might get community posts in the near future. By the way, Jay.
Oh wait, they lowered it finally?
Yeah, it was 1,000 for community posts, but now it's 500.
Fuck yeah.
So that's very achievable. So hopefully we community post in the future. But while we don't have community posts, the Discord is a much easier way to update people. It is also just a lovely place to hang out, and you can speak with us because we are open people who love meeting new people. So yeah,
I am.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter because Jay is manning that sometimes. It's a little here and there, but
when was the last time I tweeted? I think it was like last month.
But you know, we're on hiatus while we're recording this. So
yeah, exactly. Once we start uploading, I'm sure we'll get more people tweeting at us because for some reason our channel hasn't died.
And similarly, follow us on TikTok in the description. I'm the one who's manning the TikTok.
I'm gonna make my own TikTok, and it's gonna get more famous than yours, and it's gonna be funny.
Oh, personal TikTok, sure. Yeah.
It's gonna be funny.
I also have a personal TikTok that I have not uploaded anything on. I might in the future, but I
Jay Wilson versus the Ariah and Jay TikTok. Who's gonna win this?
Hell yeah.
1v1 me, bro.
In any case, thank you guys so much for watching. I love y'all. We'll see you guys next time.
Love you guys, and good night.
Bye.
Bye. My voice just fucked up bad.